Hi folks, I'm Mick from Summit Mountain Skills. Thanks very much for tuning in. I'm going to run through a couple of different techniques for tying off a belay plate. The first technique I'm going to look at is a simple tie off using an overhand knot. And typically the scenario when I would use that is when I'm multi-pitch climbing, just when my partner arrives at the stance. I can make them safe with a quick tie off and swap gear, and then they can lead on and do the next pitch. As with any belaying, it's imperative that I've always managed the dead rope with the utmost of care. So I've always got a good firm grip on the dead rope. This is the live rope, and the way to remember that is you climb at the end of the rope is alive, so it's a live rope, and this is the dead rope. So this dead rope I always need to have a firm grip on. Let's say my partner's arrived at the stance and we want to swap gear over. What I'm going to do is carefully tie an overhand knot in a bight of rope. Bight of rope's just another word for a loop of rope. But I need to do that and manage the dead rope. So I'll have a firm grip on the dead rope, and I just slide my arm up like so, and I go for a full arm length of rope, and then with my thumb, still with a firm grip on the dead rope, I just pull those two together and grab them. And then now what I'm going to do is tie a simple overhand knot around both ropes, and I want the knot to end up as close as I can to my belay plate. And you can see now that I've got a nice overhand knot around both ropes. I've got a long loop so it won't creep through, and it's butting up to the teeth. You can see that there's no way that that can pull through the belay plate, so that's now locked off. To get them back on belay when they're ready to climb, again I'm being careful to manage the rope, so I've got a firm grip on the dead side all the time, and now they're back on belay to carry on climbing. What about if the rope was weighted? So typical reason why that may have happened is that perhaps my climber has fallen off and they're hanging on the rope and perhaps need a rest, and so do I. So if I can tie this plate off but have a system that I can do that under load so it doesn't creep, but then get them back on belay, that's going to be really useful. So how do I manage that? So you can see my rope's nicely tensioned, and what I'm going to do now is tie a series of half hitches around the back bar of the carabiner. I need to do that and make sure that this live rope doesn't creep so that my partner's not going down the crag. Firm grip on the dead rope. I bring my other hand through the middle of the carabiner, and I'm just going to pick up a loop of rope, and you can see that I'm actually pulling this loop of rope through the carabiner, but I'm loading it in a direction to keep it engaged with the teeth, so it increases the friction. And then I'm going to pass a loop through a loop. So I've just tied a half hitch around the back bar, but without letting go of the dead rope. I want this half hitch to be as tight up to the belay plate as I can. I'm keeping that nice and tight. You can see of these two ropes, one moves and one doesn't. So the one that doesn't move is the one that I want to have a firm grip on. So now I can pull a good arm length of rope. And what I want to do now with this bight of rope is tie a further 2 half hitches around the back bar. So I'll just pop that through, always managing that dead rope. And if you can get these nice and neat and as tight up to your last half hitch as you can, it just means that the knot, that half hitch, will grip really well. So there's no chance of anything creeping through. So I've just put my 3rd half hitch in there. Some people tie 2. I'll be honest, I like 3 just because it gives me total peace of mind. I'm making sure that they're nice and tight and butted up as tight as I can to the belay plate, and now I can let go of that with peace of mind, knowing that that's totally locked off. Once I'm happy I've sorted the problem out, all I need to do now is just reverse this and get them back on belay. So all I do now is just retrace my tracks, being super careful to manage the rope at all times. That's my first of my 3 hitches out, my second. So now I'm down to my last half hitch. Pull this rope and see which bit of the rope's moving. The bit of the rope that's static is the rope that I really need to manage with care. That's going to be my dead rope. So I've got a firm grip on that. I just pull that through until I've got a small loop. And I'm going to warn my climber at this point that they may feel a small pop just as the last half hitch comes out and I get them back on belay. It's imperative that I've got a really firm grip on the rope. So what I do here is get both hands on the rope, and I'm going to snatch the rope in one big solid tug away from my climber. So 1, 2, 3, pull, and I've got them back on belay and they haven't moved at all. So now we can carry on climbing as normal. And that's it. Definitely something I would practice lots, so don't find yourself doing this for the first time in a real situation. So practice at home, practice at work in the office, get out in the garden. It's definitely something you can practice a lot and get really slick at. So when you do need to use it for real, you've got a good understanding of what you're doing. Hope you found that useful, folks. If you did, then please click subscribe on our YouTube channel. Keep updated with our videos being added every week. Have a look on our Facebook page to see what we're doing out on the hill and the courses we've got on. And take a look at our website, summitmountainskills.com. Keep the questions coming, folks. We find them really useful, and any other videos you'd like to see, just drop us a message. Thanks very much for watching. Hope to see you out on the hills, and happy climbing.